injured in an accident, you know it's no walk in the park. Car repairs, medical bills, and lost time from work all add up. And if the insurance company isn't paying their fair share, you have to cover the rest, even if it wasn't your fault. That's why you need an advocate. Call us today, and we'll do everything we can to get you moving again. Come on.
You deserve clear, risk-free advice to help get you back on your feet. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hello, my friends. Happy Football Friday on the Monty Show. It is Friday, October 11th, 2024, and what a show we have ahead for you. Obviously, we have got to get you all of the games this weekend. We are not going to talk about West Virginia because we don't want to make Mike Smith happy.
Right.
Mountain Mama, we're not doing it. Of course, we'll have a full preview of Iowa State and West Virginia. We have got big games, Ohio State in Eugene. Obviously, Notre Dame's not going to play anybody this week again.
Well, you're underselling the lead. Cam Rising's playing, dude. Figure gate's over.
I don't want to talk about Cam Rising until he's playing. I don't want to talk about it.
Well,
you're so bitter about Cam Rising.
Now we can talk about it.
Okay. The Monty Show is always presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Guys, I tell you every day, enjoy these last days of fall because winter is coming. But do it carefully. Do it responsibly. And if the worst happens, if you're out on your bicycle this weekend, if you are driving and you get in an accident, you didn't deserve to be in that accident. You do deserve somebody to fight for you. You deserve clear, risk-free advice. That's what you get from The Advocates at theadvocates.com, where you can chat with an injury attorney 24/7, 365. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, it does not matter. The Advocates are ready to serve you at theadvocates.com. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. A couple of shout-outs. How about my guy, Real Pete Forte, a member of the show for 11 months.
Nice job, dude. Well done. Well done.
Hello, Pete Forte. Roche, good morning to you. Hello. And then Harry Austin, our favorite San Antonian. I don't know if that's what is correct. Let's be honest. It is the media that controls football, college football. It's why the SEC and the Big Ten are so powerful. Let's get into it because it is what everybody is talking about. It is the meetings. It is the conversations. It is Greg Sankey. And is Greg Sankey good or bad for college football? And again, just because I said it the other day, I'll say it again. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like Greg Sankey, but you better learn to love him because Greg Sankey's here for the long run, and you don't have to agree with what he's saying, but you know what you can't say? Greg Sankey's wrong because he's not wrong. Greg Sankey is exactly right. He talked about it last spring, and we talked about it at length then, and a lot of you were upset when we were talking about it then, and I'm sure you'll say it now. Greg Sankey is correct that the NCAA is a has-been. The NCAA does not want to take action on anything in any kind of timeline. And Greg Sankey is correct when he says we just cannot afford to do that because that's exactly what's put college football in the predicament that it is in now, where it is hundreds of millions of dollars in a financial hole that it has to take action to get out of. And that is exactly why yesterday you had every Big Ten and SEC athletic director, Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, and Tony Petitti sitting in a room. And I can only tell you so many times, decisions are being made about your football team in that meeting. Doesn't matter if you're a Big 12 fan. It does not matter if you are a Pac-12 fan or a Mountain West fan or an ACC fan. Decisions are being made in those rooms and in those conversations about your school and its football future. You don't have to like it, but you better learn to love it because those decisions are forming the future of college football. And I think one of the things that came out of these meetings yesterday is Greg Sankey's a jerk. What an a-hole. That guy's selfish. He's a mobster. How many tweets did I get yesterday? Oh, they're holding college football hostage. They're not. They're not. You know what Tony Petitti, the commissioner of the Big Ten, and Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, are doing? What's best for their constituents, their membership, their athletes. And if you were Greg Sankey, and if you were Tony Petitti, and would you be doing anything different? Because I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't. I wouldn't care what the ACC and the Big 12 thought about what I was doing. I would not care about what the G6 and the NCAA Division I Council cared or thought of what I was doing. I don't care because I'm doing what's best for my people. And here's the part that sucks for you. If you're not an SEC or a Big Ten fan, Greg Sankey's doing what's best for you as well. You just don't recognize that. And if you do, you don't want to acknowledge it. It's hard. I get it. That's a horse pill to swallow. But what Greg Sankey and the SEC and what Tony Petitti and the Big Ten want, they generally get. And generally it moves people like the Big 12 and the ACC into action because that's the biggest problem. And if we look at all of these college football issues, how long was inaction on paying college football players the problem with college football? How long? Since day one. And it still is a problem today because there are still people who believe that giving a kid a scholarship is enough compensation. And it simply is not. So then we get to this question of, is Greg Sankey a bad guy? Is he bad for college football? Is he an a-hole? And I'm here to tell you he's not. He is the hero that college football needs because this right now is and until somebody like Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti take action to prop itself up, the sport's going to die and it's going to suffocate under its own weight. And Jake, no, I do not believe that Greg Sankey is bad for college football.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's bad for college football is people not, taking football seriously at every level. I think what's bad for college football is programs not investing enough time or energy or not prioritizing football at a high enough level so that they can make money for their athletic program. And I think that it's not sexy to say that, oh yeah, hey, the average Joe P4 school who never wins anything is what's hurting college football, because if you don't win anything, you're not relevant. And if you're not relevant, you can't schedule big time TV matchups. And if you can't schedule big time TV matchups, you're not making big time TV money. And so for me, I look at these meetings yesterday. I look at what Greg and Tony are doing, and I sit here and say, what else would you have them do? What should they be doing? If you're somebody who says that Greg Sankey's a bad guy or somehow Tony Petitti's a bad guy, what would you have them do? Would you have them not meet? Would you have them not talk? Would you have them, not try to work together to create the biggest matchups in college football on a more regular basis? Would you not have them trying to, make the sport healthier and more efficient from not only a scheduling standpoint, but from a revenue generation standpoint? Well, no, of course not. But what I think a lot of college football fans don't like is the premise that Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti are in the driver's seat of this thing. And you know what? They absolutely are in the driver's seat of this thing. And I think somebody has to be. There has to be somebody leading the way and being on the forefront and having the conversation. So I just think that we're running out of runway for, oh, Greg's a terrible guy and, Tony's a terrible guy. And these two are just trying to, steal college football and do it their way. The problem with that is their way has turned out to be the best way. Their way has been the most profitable. The pasture has been greener with how they're handling things. So for me, I look at this and I say, sure, there are some things that these two said yesterday that people took the wrong way. This whole notion that people thought that Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti somehow, hinted at the Super League being dead is absolutely just wild to me. That is not at all what anybody said. And I think we need to be really clear on this. Like, Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey are out here talking about, hey, we want to make sure that we don't. It's the infamous clip we've been playing for 2 weeks on the show about how Greg Sankey doesn't want to water down the SEC.
Yes.
And the reason I bring that up is because it kind of alludes to this concept of, yes, these two are in control, But as they move forward through that process, they want nothing to do with devaluing their brands through that process. They want nothing to do with hey, we're gonna miss opportunities in the college football playoff to make money because we went too fast with the Super League. So nobody said the Super League is dead. That just didn't happen.
Here's what Tony Petitti said, and this is a quote that everybody's seizing on to pronounce the death of the Super League. And I want you to read this quote and then ask yourself, well, what didn't he say here? And what did he actually say here? Tony Petitti, the commissioner of the Big Ten, I have yet to see a single thing in any plan that I've learned details about that contains things that we couldn't do ourselves and our A4 colleagues as well. At the end of the day, there's a strong commitment that you have the ability to do all of this ourselves. Tony Petitti, the commissioner of the Big Ten. Well, what did he say there? What Tony Petitti said there was, well, you just haven't given us enough. You haven't shown me something and us something to make us move off our spot. $9 billion, that's cool, dude. But what are we getting for the $9 billion investment and ownership stake you're getting? That's the question here. These are all negotiations. And this goes back to a story that we've been working for the better part of 2 weeks that was validated by the national media this week, that the Super League is being not regularly talked about. There are negotiations happening between universities in a group called Smash Capital and TV partners that eventually are going to lead to a Super League. It's no longer a matter of if, because what else did Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey say repeatedly yesterday? Well, we want big matchups. Is there a way for us to be intentional about scheduling? Greg Sankey, who was in Ann Arbor for Texas and Michigan, said. Sankey continued, just an incredible experience. You stand on the sideline prior to kickoff thinking, what if we can do this with our own non-conference games? We respect where we have in-state rivalries that take place in non-conference scheduling. But we had a real general conversation about the what-ifs in football and basketball. So what did he say? Well, we want more 100,000 people crowds watching our football games that involve Big Ten and SEC members. We want big matchups. Do you get that with a Super League? You do.
And I think the last two words of that statement might be the most important, might be the most, confirmation you need that we do, in fact, know what the hell we're talking about. Because what did he say? Football and basketball. And what have we been telling you? Hey, basketball is how you really make money in this thing. Yes, football has to be cooking. You got to be making a lot of money through football. You need to fill up your 100,000 seat stadium as much as possible. Like, we got to do that a lot. But when football is not in season and basketball is going, we want to fill that building up too. We want to have the biggest matchups. And so they're not like this notion of the Super League being dead and that these two are just, trying to take over college football. I don't understand where that notion comes from based on what they themselves said.
Fear.
Sitting at a table yesterday together in a conference room with no backdrop and a phone on the wall.
It comes from fear. It comes from fear. That's where this comes from. And you look at this media session yesterday. What don't we have from this media session? We don't have video. We have still shots. That's what we have. Greg Sankey on the right, the commissioner in the SEC, and Tony Petitti on the left. You don't have video. Very intentionally, you don't have video. This was something, and I know that people don't believe it, but this was something that every detail of these meetings were planned. They talked about scheduling agreements. They talked about NIL. They talked about the NIL settlement. They talked about how much money that NIL settlement's going to have. But Notice what they didn't talk about. Anything that could be potentially called collusion. And how did they do that? They had their lawyers in the room with them. That's not a small detail because we've heard all week, oh, they're colluding. There's going to be antitrust lawsuits. They had attorneys in the room guiding them through what they could and could not talk about. Greg Sankey spoke directly to it, said, we had attorneys in the room. Do you think it's an accident that he had brought up the fact they had their attorneys in the room to make sure they didn't get into collusion? That's not an accident. Guys like Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti don't accidentally say things. That's a minute detail that's not so minute. It's really important. Very small part of what he said, and nobody really picked up on it. But I am telling you, when Greg Sankey talks about we had our attorneys in the room to protect us from collusion, that's no small thing, because what is he telling you? We control the money in the college football playoff. They control 60% of the revenue. You understand that. The people in that meeting yesterday, they control 60% of the revenue. And they have the final say on the structure of the college football playoff right now.
Yeah. By the way, 60% light moving forward. That number's going to go up.
I'll continue to say, you don't have to like it, but you better learn to love it because it's reality. And the College Football Super League is going to happen. And I want to hear from you on this because I know that we espouse our greatness on a regular basis on this show, and we are great. But why are you, specifically if you're an anti-college football playoff person, if you are an anti-college football Super League person, why are you so anti? And my guess is that a lot of you are going to be G5 fans. A lot of you are going to be the Boise State fan, the UNLV fan, the San Diego State fan. Why are you so against this? And I think it's because you're the have-not. And you take that personally, and maybe you should.
But at the same time, even with all that being the case, sure, take it personally. Shouldn't you be excited that you're no longer going to have to compete with these massive schools, these massive athletic departments that are operating at 3, 4, 5 times your budget at a minimum most times? Like, shouldn't you be excited about the proposition that finally in college football, the separation of classes is being talked about and the potential for the G5 to get their own playoff system is on the horizon, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that something that you as a G5 fan would be excited about? Like, that to me is the biggest thing. And this is like a life lesson too. I see so often in life, like people get all upset when they can't, when they can no longer hang with this dude over here. It's like the neighbor analogy, right? Like your neighbor's got this amazing car, an amazing house, and you're like so fixated on that, but you're missing out on the fact that, hey, if I'm not spending my money on those things, where else can I spend my money? And that's what I think the G5's plight in life is right now. And I'm curious when that narrative is going to roll over and get to, hey, well, cool. Now that they went off and did their own thing, now we can build our own thing. I mean, when do we get Tim Pernetti and company talking about their own playoff system? When does that happen?
I think you have to grasp the fact that the power structure in college football is the television partners and the haves, and it excludes the have-nots. And the thing with Smash Capital, the way that Smash Capital is going about this is the only way that Smash Capital can be successful at forming a Super League. Hey, Big 12 and ACC, look at this suitcase. It's full of $100 bills, and it can be yours. It is the Miami Vice way of doing things.
Yes.
Look at this suitcase of money. Do you guys see how neatly stacked all these $100 bills are?
And
look how many bundles there are.
Look at all them bands.
I mean, look, can you imagine what this money in your bank accounts could do? Why don't you touch? Just come here. Come here. Why don't you go ahead and touch it?
I want more.
Why don't you count it? Well, come on over. Why don't you pull one of those bands off and just kind of feel the money, feel the paper on your fingertips? Get some of that ink. Go ahead. Get some of that ink on your fingertips. Come on.
The ink
over.
isn't dry yet.
Come on. I got a nice cold glass of lemonade here for you. That's what they're doing. Why aren't they doing that to the SEC? Because Greg Sankey's got his own $100 bills. He's got his own suitcases full of money.
And that's the hammer.
And frankly, why isn't Smash Cap doing this to Boise State or Fresno State or UNLV? Or
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Giving those people billions does not net you a return. If Alabama says, yeah, why not? You know what? Hey, man, I don't need your money. I'm going to take it. I'm just going to put it in my closet, which is already full of other suitcases full of $100 bills. That's what that's what people miss. You're not going to impress billionaires with billions.
Yeah.
But if you go to the Big 12 and you go to the ACC, who are not billionaires, and you say, hey, I'm going to make you a billionaire, you're now going to be able to compete with Greg Sankey. You think they're not taking that phone call? What did Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti say yesterday? Yeah, kind of coincidental that these conversations are being publicized now that we're sitting in a room together. Well, you're goddamn right, because you won't take the guy's phone call. But where is Smash Cap born? At Disney. They don't have to wonder if Disney and ABC and ESPN and the guys that run those networks, they don't have to wonder if those dudes will take their call, because they text and their friends and they talk about this at pool parties in the summer that you're not invited to. They don't have to worry. They've got the TV guy. They need to apply pressure to as many athletic directors as they can. And if you are Vanderbilt, who's the worst? Vanderbilt, Mississippi State. If you're the bottom feeders in the SEC, if you're Indiana, if you're Minnesota, if you're Illinois.
Oh, Indiana's having a great year this year. They're leading the Big Ten, and nobody gives a damn.
If you're Purdue, you're picking up the phone. Is it easier to go and drop a briefcase full of money at Ohio State, or not going to get lost? Rich people. You leverage poor people with a lot of money, and that's what's happening. So we can all sit here and say, oh, man, it's unfair. The Mountain West, they deserve those suitcases of Hondies. No, they don't. You deserve what you've earned. And thank you. And the Mountain West hasn't earned it. The Pac-6 hasn't earned it. And one other small detail that I think is pertinent before we get to your comments. I was told yesterday by a source close to the situation that the Pac-12 has made significant strides in the framework of a media deal, and that they have a if this, then that handshake agreement. If you can bring me this group of schools, we'll pay you this amount of money, which is really all the Pac-12 can hope for, because they don't have leverage over universities or TV partners. But I am told that they have made significant headway in their efforts to come to an agreement of, again, a framework where if you plug in these pieces, we'll pay you this amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pac-12 is making headway, and you knew it wasn't going to be long. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, that that's what's happening. Right after you download the Prize Picks app, use the promo code Monty. And I've told you for how many days now that I'm an absolute god on Prize Picks.
Don't lie to me.
I never lose. That's not what I said.
Obviously not.
That's not what I said. Won on Prize Picks last night, and actually cashed $210 on Prize Picks last night.
Well, you took Bobby Witt Jr. in the Royals, right?
No, I took Garrett Cole for less than 6.5 strikeouts. He had 4. Garrett Cole was amazing last night. Dude. 7 innings, 6 hits, and earned run, but only 4 Ks. And of course, you know, I took Giancarlo Stanton for 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He had 3. And then, because there's no red ass like a Monty red ass.
Right.
And when you are a bitter, broken man and you are sick and tired of hearing people besmirch and, play down Brock Purdy,
Right.
his demon number last night was 252.5 yards. I took more. He had 255 yards. By 2.5 yards. I went 3 for 3 last night. And I am so glad that I did not take Brandon Ayuk, who had a 45, I think it was 44.5 yard number. Brandon Ayuk in that big contract, 2 catches for 37 yards. Now, I wish that I had gone with George Kittle for an anytime touchdown because he had 2, but I didn't. But again, you guys, the formula is simple. Download the Prize Picks app, use the promo code Monty. That'll get you the best daily fantasy promo I've ever seen. Use the promo code Monty, make a $5 deposit in a new Prize Picks account. They'll give you 50 more. Plain and simple. And you can play all season long on $55. It is the best daily fantasy promo I've ever seen. And I'm telling you, once you do that, here's the formula. I'm telling it to you right now. Flex play, make 3 selections. Flex play, $5. That means you only have to win 2 of those 3. Done. Cash.
And tonight, Prize Picks is offering you MLB playoff prize picking protection.
They are.
There is a promo. Now, you can only up to $10, but what you can do is up to $10. If you lose, you'll get your money back, which is great. Now, of course, me being me and being good at this, I'm not taking that protection because I don't need it. I'm doing the formula, 3 picks, the great gambler, Shohei Ohtani on a demon to have 1 single.
Yep.
You, Darvish, and Yamamoto combined to give up 1 run in the first inning between the 2 of them. More.
You're taking the demon single.
Yes.
What if he doesn't have a base hit? What if he's hitting bombs?
Well, look at what he's done against the Padres. He's had a single almost every game.
He has.
Mookie Betts on a demon, more than 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. 1 swing of the bat.
Yeah, I am off the Mookie Betts bandwagon. I fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on me.
He's been heating up. You don't like him?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
One of these 2 pitchers tonight's going to get shellacked. One of them's going to, and I don't know who it's going to be, but
I don't know either. I think it is. Whose bats do you trust more here? I think that's the biggest question.
The Dodgers.
You trust the Dodgers more? I do.
The Dodgers are an offensive juggernaut that can't pitch.
Is there and I guess this is the question. I think Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Say that fast 5 times. Versus you, Darvish. You, Darvish, was spectacular, but can you do that to the Dodgers 2 starts in a row?
Yeah, I don't know about that. And that's why I'm saying that's why it's at Dodger Stadium. That's why I took the over on that 1 run between the 2 in the first inning. But in this game, just so we're clear in Prize Picks, if you haven't seen it, you've got goblins all over the place for just
easier to win.
Just easier to win. Like as an example, Jake Cronenworth for 1 hit run or RBI. Jerks and Profar, same. Max Muncy, same. Like there are a bunch of these. So there's money to be made on this game, 100%.
Yamamoto's the tough one because he's a guy you should take here, but I think you just take him straight up. 4 strikeouts. You need 5. That means more or less than 4 strikeouts.
I would be more, in my estimation, Darvish is more reliable with the strikeouts. Yamamoto has a propensity to get lit up.
You think so?
Early in games, he's done that this year, but I don't know.
I look at this matchup.
It would be worth it to go back and look at what he did because didn't he have a start earlier in the series?
He did. And he gave up some runs. 3 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned, home run, 2 walks, and a K.
So not great, but first postseason start.
Yeah, I think that I am here's the problem. He has a 12 ERA against San Diego, so it makes me a little nervous.
Mm-hmm.
He's 0-1 in 2 games, 6 innings, 8 hits, 8 earned, 2 bombs, 2 walks, 8 Ks. So he's averaging 4 strikeouts a start against San Diego.
Right.
Yeah, that's I'm going to have to put some thought into that.
So another real quick, we got to get going here, but with this $10 protected play situation on Prize Picks, do a three pick, a riskier 3 pick, wager your $20 or whatever you want to put on it, and then do 2 more that are $10 picks that are protected. That way you can you're basically ensuring that you make
don't lose.
Yeah.
That you don't lose.
Yeah. Because on a $10 flex play on 3 picks, $10 makes you 20. So if you win it, you're doubling your money on that at that level.
Will Howard against Oregon, 246 yards.
More.
You think more?
More. Yeah, that's 280, 290, I think.
I think that's a really interesting one. And I do quarterbacks in college football every weekend. I do 3 quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders, 310.5. Is his
K-State
number his demon?
Yeah.
350. He's not throwing for 350 yards against K-State. I don't think you can take that.
The question is, are they going to be are we getting UCF Colorado or are we getting Nebraska Colorado?
I don't know.
And that's the hard
question.
Like, are we getting the Colorado that beat Baylor in a thriller? Or are we getting a more consistent? And by the way, for K-State, I might add, this is one of the most explosive offenses they will have seen this year. And we're going to talk about that game in a little while. So that Shedeur number, that demon, that's a tougher demon for sure. If you're taking it, you're confident they're going to be playing from behind, which I don't think is a terrible take, by the way.
Noah Fafita's demon, 299.5 against BYU. I think I'm taking that. I'm taking Jake Retzloff at 249.5,
isn't it? Right?
It is 2:00 Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I like that Fafita demon then. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm going Will Howard more than 246.5.
Yeah.
Boy, that's scary.
Where's Cam Ward at this week? Are they on idle? Where are they at?
I haven't seen a Cam Ward number.
I think they might be idle. Yeah, they're idle.
They're off this week. I think I'm going Noah Fafita 299.5 more yards. Jake Retzloff more than 250 and Will Howard more than 246.
Okay.
And I am going to do, I'm going to do a $10 flex play on that.
Okay.
$10 to win 55.
Nice, dude. I like it.
So
play with us.
Play with us.
Sign
Use
up.
the promo code Monty. Put $5 in a new Prize Picks account. You'll get 50 more. And then screenshot it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right. Let's get into the comments section on Greg Sankey and the college football playoff. Hillbilly Skeptic. Hello. You can't say the Mountain West deserves the same revenue as the SEC. Super conference have to become super leagues for the sake of smaller programs.
Agreed.
I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that the Mountain West should play on the same field as the SEC financially. And everybody this week we've got to have hundreds of comments to this exact talking point. Does Boise State belong in competition with Georgia? Does Fresno State belong in competition with the Ohio State? No. And it's not that they can't compete on the field athletically. It's not even that. They cannot compete financially with the upper echelon programs in college sports. It's as simple as that. At Boise State, you cannot afford to play Super League football. You can't afford to be a power league program.
Right.
You just don't have the revenue. You don't. It's SMU. SMU doesn't have the revenue. They've got boosters. But at what point does Jimmy the car icon or, Cal the, Calvin all hat, no cattle guy, does he run out of his own money trying to get SMU to a Super League?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question. How do the Cal Bears compete financially with Georgia? That's a really big question. And I know that you don't like it, but it's the reality. And too many times in this country, we want to sell ourselves that we can afford the nice car when we can't. I'm just going to put $5 more on my credit card. You can't. Because we don't have discipline. And we always want, a good friend of mine when we lived in LA, Mrs. Monty and I, her parents always had to buy a new RV because the neighbor bought a new RV. That's who you are if you're in the Mountain West. You can't do that. I promise you that is your quickest way to death. The quickest way. The stadium guy, James, Oak State James, who is now look at his avatar. It's a bag over his head. Is Casey Dunn fired yet? He's not. The Super League should be 8 divisions of 10 teams. 80, I think, is just too much. So smaller teams have a chance to get in. No, it shouldn't.
No. No.
On what grounds should smaller teams get into the Super League? Let's just hash it out right now. On what grounds and based on what merit should smaller teams be in the Super League? There's no way to back that up. UTEP should never be in anything involving hundreds of millions of dollars on football.
Completely agree.
Should San Diego State, Fresno State, Boise State? Hell, I don't know. Should UTSA? Texas State? No. The answer is no. The Dakotas? No. Wyo? No. Come on. We don't give participation trophies. That's not who college football is, and nor should it be. You deserve what you've earned. And if you're in a G5, you've earned that right, unless your name's Oregon State. Everybody else has earned the right to be a G5. They have not earned the right to be a power conference. Scott of Greywater Watch. I realize that college football is going to a Super League for bigger matchups, but the reality is the schools that don't make it are seriously going to impact the cities economically. That's not the case.
I just disagree, Scott. So again, and I've been saying this more because I think it needs to happen in our comments section. Why? Why do you think that? So if Boise State, as an example, is able to dominate a G5 playoff system, how does that hurt them economically? That would help them. And in fact, improves their situation, not having to try to compete with the big dogs. I don't understand why you think that it would hurt them. That just doesn't add up.
No, the truth is there's no change for the G5 and down. Nothing would change. You'll be on better financial footing and you're playing the same schedules. What damage is being done? You have the same TV contracts that will incrementally increase. What damage is being done? The hotel rooms are still being used. The restaurants are still being used. The bus company is still being used. The airport is still being used. What economic damage are we talking about? Wasikowski, Greg Sankey wants to be a commissioner. I don't know if he does or not. I don't know. Phil Venzer, why would the SEC and Big Ten give up their competitive advantage? They wouldn't. They've negotiated it and leveraged it. Why would you give that up? I wouldn't. There's going to be more Oregon State and Washington State situations. Washington State, with all due respect, has been mismanaged for years. Why would they did that to themselves? Oregon State, I agree, is a victim of circumstance. Scott Barnes is a hell of an athletic administrator.
But we also need to say Oregon State is the perfect example of a school that only recently in college football, I would say last 7 years, 10 years, maybe at most, started taking it seriously. How long have we had to wait for Reeser to get upgraded? How long have we had to wait to bring in a head coach at that time in Jonathan Smith who could actually develop talent and start to build a football program and get that momentum and so we can cry a river about Oregon State, but the truth is that part of it is on them. Not part of it's a situation because you were competing with Oregon.
Well,
and
and you kind
the
of
bigger
are who you
brands.
roll with too.
Yeah, and I feel like if someone
Yeah.
looked at Oregon State, like, yeah, you can say, oh man, like when the Big 12 thing happened, when the Pac-12 melted down, my feeling about Oregon State was, hey, I do wish that Oregon State was able to get into the Big 12. I felt like that could have been a nice fit, but it just didn't work out that way for you. You weren't more of a priority than the Arizona schools. You certainly weren't more of a priority than Utah. And you know, I just think that Oregon State is a cautionary tale of a school that is run well, but they don't prioritize football enough or didn't soon enough. And that's the lesson you have to learn in these things.
Yeah, and I think, again, I'll just go back to the Greg Sankey point. Instead of calling him the devil, maybe we should be thanking him. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but who is going to act if it's not Greg Sankey? Because it's what he said last spring. Nothing is getting done. We're sitting around a room in silence. Nobody's talking. And he said something like, if I have to be the jerk in the room, I'll be the jerk in the room.
Yeah, he's fully embraced that role.
That's called leadership. And you don't have to like him. You don't. That's not a prerequisite. But you better recognize who he is and where he is and the influence and the power he carries.
Yeah.
Because he's got way more power than, at the moment, he's got way more power than Smash Cap and their $9 billion.
And by the way, I just have to point out, I thought it was incredible yesterday, like visually speaking, that the guy controlling college football is out here on a weekly basis, you know, wearing a quarter zip and Skechers. And just like I like see in this one, he pulled out the blazer, right? But typically Greg Sankey wears a quarter zip like Tony is. And I just think it's funny that Tony and your Jordan 4s, I just thought it was funny that these are the dudes controlling the future of college football, man. Just visually, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I think we can sit here and talk about Cinderella slippers all day long if you want. They're meaningless. They carry no power. They're nothing more than props in college sports. That's it. And you know, like I'll just go back to what I've said. Here's the power structure of college athletics. Power programs that play both football and basketball. If you don't have a football team or you don't have a basketball program of note, you're worthless. You are. If you have a football team that's a power program, okay, we're going to take you because football is king. But if you're Gonzaga and you're built, and again, I will say, I think they are built on smoke and mirrors. I don't believe that they would ever join the Big 12.
Gonzaga.
They don't play football. UConn in this behemoth basketball program couldn't get into the Big 12 because they don't play football. I mean, they do, but it's more like chess club. I'm telling you now, it's one of two ways. If you're a power program, who's got a great basketball program and a crappy football program? Kentucky. Kentucky occasionally wins games. Duke occasionally wins games in football.
UNC.
Who's saying no? But yeah, you also put dudes at the top of the NFL draft, right? So you do things in football. But who's saying no to Duke? Starting quarterback at Duke, go. Yeah, you don't know either. You don't. Starting quarterback at Connecticut. But what's the difference? The Big 12 would take Duke right now today. They won't take UConn because they're not paying for UConn football. The difference is Duke is iconic. UConn's a great basketball school. Duke is iconic. UConn doesn't have a good football program. Right. Duke is iconic. Right? Even like Kentucky at this point. Kentucky's a really good example of this. Kentucky is one of the most successful basketball programs in the history of the NCAA. Okay, what have you done for me lately?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you sent your boy to Arkansas, John Calipari. Right? I mean, I agree more and more on your I call it the Stanford take.
Yeah.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
Nothing. Stanford's not winning in basketball. Stanford's not winning in football. It's why they're in the ACC and not the Big Ten. Frankly.
It is what it is.
It is what it be. Scott of Greywater Watch. If Baylor doesn't make it in Waco, Waco will lose a lot of football money. But why would Baylor not get into a Super League? They still have a basketball, but what about Lubbock if Tech doesn't get in? See, but again, you're assuming that Power 4 teams won't get in. Everybody in a power conference is in.
Yeah.
The question is, do you give a seat at the table to the G5? And the answer is going to be no. Because as I reported, I believe first, and still, I think I might be the only one telling you this, the Big Ten and the SEC scheduling conversation largely revolves around the fact that you're not going to be allowed to play G5 teams. It's not going to be part of it. When this Super League happens, you will not be allowed to play anybody outside the Super League.
Mm-hmm.
Period. End of discussion. So, no, I don't believe that G5 will have a seat at the table.
Yeah, I mean, you need, 1,000%, the Super League needs teams like Tech and Baylor and that lower-end power program school for scheduling. You have to have that.
Yeah. Roche, if the Big Ten and the SEC took their ball and went home, they would severely damage college football, which is, again, why Greg Sankey has repeatedly said they're not trying to do that. They understand that they need a national football program, which the Big Ten and the SEC does not deliver. I think they understand that. That's why every Power 4 team gets in. And again, Pac-12 fan, you're going to lose your mind over this. So put your hands at 10-2 when I say nobody is shedding a tear that the Pac-12 melted down because it's less money they have to share.
Man.
It's less money they have to share. Nobody in that meeting yesterday is at all upset about the Pac-12 not being in existence anymore. USC's not upset about it.
It's Oregon State.
USC's not upset about it. Oregon's not upset about it. Washington is not upset about it. Yeah, their athletic director was in that meeting. Was yours? No, they weren't. Was Scott Barnes in that meeting? No, he wasn't. I'm telling you, the Pac-12 did this to themselves. And I hear from Pac-12 fan all the time, you're an asshole, Marty. You're right. But I'm the guy that tells you the truth. I said it to somebody yesterday. People don't come to me to be like, oh, buddy, pal. Right? When you come to me to talk college sports, why do you come here? Because you know you're going to get the unvarnished truth. You don't have to agree or like the opinion, but you know you're going to get a strong opinion based in fact. That's why you come here. And the strong opinion based in fact is nobody misses the Pac-12. Well, that's not true. Our friends in Spokane miss the Pac-12.
The Mountain West misses the Pac-12.
Nobody misses the Pac-12. Nobody in that meeting yesterday misses the Pac-12.
Nope.
Nobody. B, you have to feel bad for the little guy. We may see some G5s go away.
Dude, okay. Why should I feel bad, with all due respect to the little guy, as you say, when the little guy hasn't gone out of their way to ensure their survival on any level? This is what I've been saying for a year on this damn show. Dude, if you're a small program, that sales department damn well better be going. It better be going. It better be making you more money than you've ever made, because more money than you've ever made is not enough money. It's
the greatness of Brett Yormark.
Yeah.
Brett Yormark came in and said, I'm splitting basketball and football into two different business operations. Now, they're not mutually exclusive, but they're not going to work together. I have a guy that's running a sales team and a revenue generation system on basketball and on football. And now what's everybody doing? The exact same thing.
Yeah, did you see what the Big 12 did yesterday? Anybody talking about it? Oh, yeah. Good old Pete Thamel reporting. Sources tell him the Big 12 is set to hire WAC Commissioner Brian Thornton.
Now he's going to be the assistant commissioner, or no. What's he going to be, Jake?
The new vice president of men's basketball. Oh, that's right. We told you. It must have been probably, 15, 16 months ago now. Basketball, football, two separate entities.
And
under the Big 12 umbrella.
And both are vitally important to the survival of the Big 12. And Donut says life lessons now, please. Okay. Hey, listen. You
ain't got to like it, bro, but you damn well know it's the truth.
Hillbilly Skeptic for $5. Would Super League conferences keep sub-performing legacy programs in favor of better programs from lower leagues? SEC drops Vandy for Clemson. Here's the problem, though. You're not dropping Vandy. The SEC conference doesn't disappear. We're not talking about basketball and every other sport. The Super League is football. You're breaking football off and doing its own thing. The NCAA has no more leverage over that. The D1 Council that doesn't do anything has no more leverage over that. I think you are going to see that you're going to have college football be its own entity with its own commissioner, its own regulations, its own set of rules, its own budgets.
Yeah.
So the idea that Vandy would opt out, it would mean that you're opting out of the SEC. It would mean that you're opting out of that money. They're not going to do that because what people don't want to understand is Vanderbilt can afford to play Super League football. Pick your Boise, and I say Boise because they're allegedly this behemoth of G5 athletics. They can't afford it. Show me. And I ask Boise State fan this all the time, and I love my friends in Idaho. I do. I have a lot of respect for what Boise State's done, but nobody anywhere ever has been able to show me a financial avenue for Boise State or any other G5 team to compete financially. Do you understand how much money it is? Look at the budgets we're talking about. Likely $150 million will be the minimum that you will have to compete in super conference football. Do you know how many P4s are like, damn, that's a lot of money? Do I think that Vanderbilt wants to spend that money on football? No, I think they'd much rather spend it on new beakers and test tubes. On a better cut of professor.
I thought you said beakers.
I did. New Bunsen burners. Right? I think they'd rather spend it on educational initiatives.
Yeah.
But athletics in the SEC and in the Big 10 and in the Big 12 and in the ACC make your university money 99.9% of the time. How many G6 programs lose money on athletics? A lot. That's the thing that
a lot.
I don't think people understand this. I feel like I'm preaching today, and I'm really sorry if that's how it comes across. Do you guys understand how many upper echelon G5 FBS program, G5 FBS level G5 programs lose money on athletics?
A lot, dude.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And if you think they're going to opt in to now, they're already losing money. We're now going to opt into revenue sharing so that we give away 22% of our revenue to the kids.
Lose more money.
And then you're going to have to also opt into expanding your football scholarship pool. So you're giving away more money. And then you're going to have to opt into paying a higher level of insurance and humanity cost, making sure that their facilities are at a, because there's going to be bars that are going to be raised for facilities. Dormitories, living expenses.
Call them minimum expectations.
Dude, the day of, hey, you got a scholarship and a Pell Grant, get out of my office. Those days are over. Mike Gundy saying we're not negotiating. No, you're not.
You're never done.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, and I saw this comment. I had a direct conversation about this. Rick George has always been. So this dude, this college football administrator I talk to pretty regularly, continues to call Rick George the canary in the coal mine. And it's not wrong. Anytime Rick George says, God damn it.
Rick George was the guy that left Pac-12 Media Day 2 years ago early.
Pack everything up.
Yeah, we're
Right?
outta
Remember
here.
that? He stormed out the
Yeah.
back door.
Yeah, dude.
Pack this thing up. We're out of here.
Where was he going? The Big 12.
Oh, that's right.
Marty, you don't know anything. And then Rick George, the canary, flew out of the coal mine and went to the Big 12.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
Rick George from Colorado earlier this week talked about what CU is doing to position themselves for the Super League. Better hope your AD is working to figure this out. Because it's not a matter of if.
Yeah. How
How
long we've been telling you, bro?
You don't have to like it.
6 months?
But you better learn to love it. Which means you better be
on board
hiring a vice president of basketball. That's exactly right, Mile High Phil. It just is. It is what it is, man. And I understand that people get upset about it. I understand why you're frustrated about it. I understand why you don't want to embrace it. I get it. Cam Harrison. Vandy needs that money to spend on new goalposts. Oh my God. Didn't they get fined $500,000 for that?
Yes.
They got fined $500,000 for that. Scott of Greywater Watch. Look at the NBA ABA merger. 4 teams made it. The rest don't exist anymore. You're in or you're not. Every G5, every P4 team is in.
Dude, you're making it out like these G5 schools are just going to die and they're just going to disappear. Like, that's not the case. You understand that that's not a great example. The NBA and the ABA merger is not a great example because the ABA teams they're just businesses. All they did was basketball, right? Like, they needed the competition. But the difference is that, you know, Boise State or San Diego State, these are educational institutions that happen to play athletics, that participate in athletics. They will figure it out because there's 1,000,001 San Diego States. There's 1,000,001 YOs, man. There's 1,000,001 of these schools who don't want to participate in athletics at the level of the Power Four, but do want to play football and do want to, you know, offer that to their students. So they will figure it out. They're not just going to disappear overnight, man. It's going to get worked out. That's what I'm saying. Like this situation or this premise or this idea that the SEC and the Big Ten and the power conferences are leaving us to dry. They're leaving us in the dust. Our town's going to burn down. We don't have any more water. We're going to suffocate and die. That's not the situation.
Ask yourself this. If you are Wyoming, can you compete with the top 10 schools in revenue generation? So when we talk about this NIL settlement, and you are, let's even go lower than that. Let's say the 35th team is Kansas, and you've got to pay $10 million a year for the next decade, and then you got to add 22%. And you are cash positive because you made $118 million in 2023. You spent $108 million. So you're making money. But if you go down this list, let's go to McNeese State. You spent $13.6 million. I'm sorry, I thought you said they spent $13.6 million and
we're not making any changes.
They made 13.2. Okay, what about, let's go up there. You know what, Marty, you're just being a jerk. Okay, let's move up the list a little bit. Southern Illinois. Everybody says juggernaut of the FCS. $18.7 million in revenue. They spent $22 million. That's a loss. Okay, well, let's keep moving up to Northern Illinois. Everybody's favorite.
Yeah, the best team
anybody's ever seen, including Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Northern Illinois in 2023, $22.1 million in revenue. Yeah, they spent 24 million.
Does that include the check that Notre Dame cut them?
They couldn't have lost money. They're Northern Illinois. Do you understand that we're talking about toilet paper money? Do you guys understand that Northern Illinois made $22.1 million in 2023? Ohio State made $251.6 million.
So, with all due respect, Scott, and I appreciate you being here every day, dude. I know you're here every day. I appreciate you. Don't tell me that this is the NBA ABA merger, dude, because it's not.
It isn't. It's wild to me. It is.
It's just not. That's not a good comparison. And the thing is, again, the big boys, get this through your head. The big boys aren't paying the bills of these little dudes.
No,
that's not what it is. The proposition of McNeese State going up to $200 million a year, that's not going to happen, man. And it shouldn't.
Before we move on, because we've got to start picking games, and I want to get to your paid comments as well. I really appreciate everybody that tips us. I just want to play this Greg Sankey bite again because I want you to hear it. It's not what they are saying out loud. Listen to what he's not saying. Where did he say in this bite that I've played all week for you on a podcast that I can't remember the name
Triple
of it?
Option.
I can never remember that name. Where does he say the Super League's dead?
I don't want to dumb down the Southeastern Conference to be part of some Super League notion with 70 teams that some people speculate would happen. They want to be us, and that's on them to figure it out, not on me to bring myself back to earth.
Couldn't agree more, bro.
They're saying they're telling you without telling you. He said that a day before we Ross Dellinger broke the news, and we talked at length about a Super League. We told you it was 70 teams. Ross reported it was 70 teams. And you think accidentally Greg Sankey's talking about a 70-team Super League? You think it's accidental that Tony Petitti said he hasn't seen a plan that I haven't seen a single thing in any plan that I've learned details about that contains things we couldn't do ourselves? What are they saying? Show me more.
Yes.
Show me more.
I need more.
That's what they're saying. Everybody dancing on the grave of the Super League. You're congratulations. You're getting in your cardio, but you're not dancing on anybody's grave. Lamont Tucker. Hello. For 16 months, Lamont's been a member of the show.
Now, Lamont, I appreciate you getting us off track with this comment as a Michigan fan. I appreciate this.
See, Lamont is the realistic Michigan fan.
Yeah.
In search of a quarterback at Michigan. But
but orgy.
But you have
Tunnel.
Alex. You have Alex having an orgy.
Yeah.
Like, what is the problem? Remember last week when Ferris or whoever it was, Alex Orgy's breakout game. He's arrived.
150 yards, Monty.
And I love it. Somebody in the comment section in Ohio State in the comment section made a great comment yesterday. You guys, will you please point out that 150 yards is not good for a quarterback?
No, it's not, dude. What, Warren Davis wasn't good enough?
That's
Come
exactly right.
Come on.
That is exactly right.
Please, bro.
150 yards is not good. It's not, bro. It's not good. 150 yards.
I am, in fact, taking less on Alex Orgy passing yards.
The Chad Carter, a fan of the Ohio State. Season is on the line for the Bucks and Ducks. Ohio State over Oregon, 35-24. This is it from my guy, Will Howard. I'm a huge Will Howard fan. I think I've told you repeatedly that I believe wholeheartedly in Will Howard. I think that I am a guy that is somebody who has seen Will Howard playing at a very high level. I am a guy that has seen Will Howard doing things that, frankly, big-time quarterbacks do. This cat can move. He can throw. He's accurate. He loves the big moment, and he cares deeply about winning. And I'm not saying that Dylan Gabriel is not those things. Don't go all quack-a-dack on me, Duck fan. I'm telling you, Will Howard is a great college quarterback. This offense, and again, we can go round and round, friends, about who's what and how things work. Jeremiah Smith is the best wide receiver in the country. And I will die on that hill if you'd like. They're going to Eugene and they're going to win tomorrow. And it is.
And I don't even know that he's the most impactful player in that game. And I agree. He is the best wide receiver in the game.
And if they do not go to Eugene and win, and if they do not cover the 3 and 52.5, I'd be stunned. It'd be stunning. It is the game of every one of these dudes' careers. It is why Oregon is in the Big Ten. And it is a moment in time that will define Ryan Day's legacy at Ohio State. Because right now, you're a coach who can't win the big game and you haven't beat Michigan in recent years.
You're not a winner. You're a moneymaker.
And Ryan Day wants to win. You don't hire Chip Kelly if you're not trying to win. And I don't mean beating per don't. I mean winning the whole goddamn thing. And that's what I love about Ohio State. And that's what I love about Georgia and Bama. It's crushing when you go to Vanderbilt and lose. We're not talking Heismans anymore. We're talking about dreams slipping away at Bama. That's what's on the line tomorrow in Eugene. And this is what's so vitally important about a Super League. I want this game every week. I want this game on my TV every Saturday. And that's what we're going to get. And that's what we deserve as college football fans. Full preview of that game coming up. Brandon Butler gives 5 Monty Show membership. Jake on the dot.
Yeah, man, I'm ready.
On the dot. We appreciate that. All right, let's start picking the games. Let's start picking the games on the Monty Show, as always. Presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. Jake is he's gonna lose his wig in 15 seconds because a certain somebody is going to be under center tonight in Tempe.
When you've been injured in an accident, you need a lawyer, and you deserve an advocate. Speaking with an attorney is simple and 100% free. We're available 24/7 for your convenience, and we'll take on the claims process so you can rest easy. You deserve an advocate.
Clear, risk-free advice. That's what you get from the Advocates at theadvocates.com, where you can chat with an injury attorney 24/7, 365. And it won't cost you a dime because you do not pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. Tell them you heard about it on the Marty program.
And
actually,
Marty?
it's Monty. Monty.
It's not Monty or Morty or Marty. It's Monty. It says it on the wall there in case you can't spell it.
Yeah. Don't misspell it on my gravestone.
Yeah.
Utah at Arizona State. Arizona State's a home dog on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
44.5 points is the number. 8:30 p.m. on ESPN. It is the game of the year for Utah. You win, or you should just fold up shop and go home.
Mm-hmm.
And none other than Scam Rising. My dude, Cam Rising. He of damaged fingers.
Scam, don't call me Fingergate, Rising.
Brett McMurphy, the Action Network. Utah quarterback Cam Rising will start Friday at Arizona State. Sources told the Action Network, HQ. Rising hasn't played since September 7th when they dirty scumbags at Baylor. Brett didn't say that. I kind of added that into the... Okay. When he injured his finger on his throwing hand, requiring stitches, Rising has missed Utah's last 3 years.
I'd like to point out in this tweet
that it doesn't say the dirty dogs at
it
Baylor.
doesn't
It just
say
says
that,
Baylor.
and it doesn't say that dude was driven into a Gatorade cooler and gashed his hand open. Notice the verbiage here.
It says nothing about David Koresh in Waco.
Yeah, none of that. It just says, oh, dude had some stitches and he missed a bunch of time. Thanks, dude. Appreciate the love.
How come he didn't spell Scam Rising's anyway?
Yeah, he's missing an S there.
Will you guys all shut up about Cam Rising now? This is a good dude. He's a good human being. He's a good kid. He's a good football player who has had tremendous adversity the last 3 calendar years. Let the kid enjoy his moment. Because I can tell you, he has been miserable not being able to play this game that he loves. And I know that he's 35, and I know that he's graduated over a decade ago.
Blah, 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 blah.
We get it. Cam Rising's worked hard to get back, and I'm happy for the kid this morning because according to Brett McMurphy at the Action Network HQ, he's going to play. Yeah, I'm here for it today. I have a lot of energy. I slept straight through the night. And Utah's going to win this game. And the Dillinghams in Tempe at ASU, they play hard. And they are, in my opinion, going to be a force to be reckoned with over the next 3 years. That doesn't start tonight. Because with Cam Rising under center, you're going to have an energy you can feel through your television. And I think this team is coming out to prove a point. And I think Cam Rising's coming out to prove a point. And the quotes from Kyle Whittingham this week about how there's a path for Isaac Wilson to be the quarterback of this team. And we can all stop talking about that now because Cam Rising, according to the Action Network, HQ, is going to play tonight. Are you happy or unhappy about this?
Oh, I'm thrilled with it. I think that your season starts tonight. I think that, you're 4-1. You dropped a dud last week against Arizona without Cam. Defense didn't really show up, just not a great performance. And I think as a squad, I don't care which side of the ball you're playing on. This is a come out and make a statement kind of game. This is a, hey, Cam's back. Full playbook is available. Would fully expect them to drop 30 points on this team on the road, and would fully expect the defense to create turnovers and dominate this ASU team. And I get it. Hey, ASU's tough. Kenny Dillingham, hey, they're improving. I don't care about any of that because Utah, when they're right, is one of the best teams in the country. They should show that.
This will easily be the best pass rush that Utah has seen this year. This will be the best running game that Utah has seen this year because Arizona State does two things. They get after the quarterback and they control the clock. So you are going to have to put together those signature Cam Rising 9, 10, 11 play drives that he has always had under his belt at Utah. And you will win the game. But if Cam Rising is not able to drive the ball down the field, if Cam Rising is not Cam Rising and he is inaccurate in this game and he is hesitant in this game, and if at any point Isaac Wilson has to come in this game, Utah will lose this game. Because this pass rush at Arizona State, whether you know it or not, is legit. This defensive line at Arizona State, whether you know it or not, is legit. Kenny Dillingham is building something at Arizona State, and this is not a good football team, but damn, they are solid, and they have some really good units coming together. The best of which is probably their pass rush unit. Now, having said that, I mean, this team's undefeated and they haven't given up a point. Is that right? That's not right. Arizona State certainly has some issues. And if you look at what this football team is going through, I think Arizona State and their home field advantage is that it's hot in Arizona. It is going to be a hot day, and you probably don't care about this, but you need to understand it. They play in a cement fortress at Sun Devil Stadium. It is all cement, and it is hotter than Hades in that joint. It's going to be, I think the high today in Tempe is 103. So it's going to bake all day long. And by time kickoff rolls around, it's supposed to be in the low 90s. So it's going to be hot. It's been an incredibly hot summer in Utah. So I don't actually think the climate's going to be a problem for the Utes. And I think this home field advantage will be questioned. And nobody has run the ball well on Utah. Nobody. And they're not going to. If Utah can stop the run, and if they can contain the time of possession, I think they win this game by 2.5 scores.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I'm not concerned about Cam's ability to throw the ball down the field. I think that the delay in him coming back has been just that, hey, I need another week to heal my hand a little more to feel like, hey, I can make all the throws I need to make. And so what I'm not going to do in this game is say, oh, well, if Cam's healthy, no, you're coming back to play. I expect you to be 100%. I'm not going to do the whole, oh, well, Cam's 80%, the cut on his hand really limited his throw. I'm not doing that. You're either healthy and can play or you can't. And he, according to that tweet, is ready to go. So I would expect Utah to put up a great performance tonight. I would expect, 30, 35 points, and I would expect you to hold them to under 20. That's what I expect out of this team. I expect this defense specifically to be upset, to be frankly pissed off about what you did or didn't do against Arizona. And I would expect you to come out looking to prove a point against this team in a time when people are doubting what Utah can do, in a time when you are still fortunate enough to be in the top 25, to be ranked, to be still right in the middle of the playoff picture. Nothing is lost on you right now. Go out and handle your business, do what you do, and you should be just fine in this game.
And I think one of the things that's so interesting is that you have Arizona State, who averages 33 points a game on offense and averages 23.8 points against on defense. It's a pretty solid football team right now. But the problem is you're going up against a Utah team who only gives up 15 points a game. They've only given up 8 touchdowns. They're the second best defense statistically in the conference behind Iowa State. Shockingly, BYU is third. And with a true freshman at quarterback, Utah has averaged 28 points a game. With Cam Rising back there, I think this just adds up to a very good scenario for Utah. And I think the other thing I would point out, here's who Arizona State's beat: Wyoming, Mississippi State, Texas State, and Kansas. Those are not good football teams. And who did they lose to? On the road at Texas Tech, 30-22. A competent offense that runs the football and has a very good quarterback. I think it's very much the same scenario, but I don't think they can score 3 times on Utah. I like this game to be 31-17 in favor of Utah.
Yeah, I agree 17 points is a good number for ASU, but I'm saying 35 for Utah. I think that they
35.
I think the reason I think it's 35 is because I think that Utah is going to come out and establish the run with Bernard, because mainly that's what they've done. That's what they've had to do.
Mackay, don't call me Micah.
Yeah. So they've had to establish the run, and they know how to run the football effectively. They know how to get that going. So I think you're going to see that early in this game. And I think you're going to see a lot of chunk plays out of the tight ends, and not just Brandt. I'm talking about all 2, 3 of them that you got. And if Money Parks gets loose in this game, now you're in real trouble. But assuming he just has a mediocre performance, I still think you're putting up, 30 to 35 points. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Calford gifts 10 Monty Show memberships.
Thanks, bro.
Calford, appreciate you coming through, as you always do. Where are you guys at on Utah and Arizona State? Let's see. You guys are crazy. The eye patch. Texas State statistically is the best team ASU has beaten. They are. Tanner Plummer. Okie State sucks, James. Sorry, not sorry.
Okay.
Look at Tanner Plummer, no longer a member. Okay,
Tanner.
Okay. Keith Carl. The Calford Membership Foundation is making dreams happen this morning. Yes, it is. The stadium guy, James, who now again has changed his avatar. Why aren't you a police officer? Grow a mustache and you could be anybody's. You could be sheriff in every town in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Please let me enjoy the bye week. Let's not ruin the show by talking about Oak State.
Brother, I don't know what a bye week is. You're idle this week. Thank you. Are you guys during your idle week talking about upper decks, or what's the plan?
They are so bad. It looks like the Monsters stole their talent, because they did.
Okay.
Big Daddy Magic. Hey, playa. I guarantee a win, Utah. If Utah doesn't win, I will donate my Victor tickets on the 31st of October to Primary Children's Hospital. If Utah doesn't win, I want you to buy me a Buffalo Bills red T-shirt, long sleeve. I can't remember what size you said you were. I think you said you're a 3X off of Amazon. Okay, sounds like a bet to me. if Utah does win, I'll have Jake buy me dinner. If Utah loses, you have to buy me a Buffalo Bills 3X long sleeve red. Big Daddy Magic on a daily basis. Hey, playa.
Hey, Marty.
Victor is currently in the shower, so I'm just curious. Have you got me that long sleeve red 3X Bills t-shirt off of Amazon yet? Every day. Every single day. As though it's his job. Whoa. Jeff Johnson, Ferris, I find your comments very entertaining. Oh God, what did Ferris say? Whoa, you guys with the comments are amazing. Let's see. Stadium Guy James says, go Utes. Dev MC, a member for 4 months on the program.
Okay, Dev.
Oak State might give up 250 yards on the ground to Idle. Who you guys got this week? We're Idle.
Well, Marty, our game plan versus Idle is to really lock in and, have, Rucker and the A-gap stopping the run. That's our game plan this week.
Hook and ladder for $2. How the hell do I buy a membership? I think it's the money button now. Didn't they matriculate? Didn't they make it the money button? You click the $sign at the bottom and you can add a membership, I think, at that point. I could be wrong. Mayor McCluskey. Hello, Mayor.
Stay hard.
Good to see you. I'll say it again. ASU 126, Utah 3.
Dude, you're pushing it now.
Scam exits the game in the second quarter with an injury to his hair.
Bro.
Cam Rising's questionable to return as his hair is parted on the wrong side of his ponytail.
Yeah.
I don't think hair follicle he's day to day with a hair follicle injury.
Yes, in the bottom right corner you can click the money button, and I believe that's how you get a membership.
A hair follicle injury. Where is Ferris Khan's comment? I can't. Okay, fat old Mormon and dying. Let's go Sun Devils. Scam Rising will not play.
What now? Let me tell you what now.
Okay. Kay Sumbry, hello. But Utah has been disappointing while Arizona State has been surprising. This is true. Scam greater than Sparky, ACC West Commissioner Gumpy. Sparky, the Sun Devil mascot. Smash the numbers. 79, and you are commenting about me commenting.
Why is it that you come in here all the time and get in fights with people? Can I just ask? Like, what are we doing?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
Sal Capone. Bottom right corner has no option to get membership. Just sticker and super chat, but that's because you're a member already. But I might be wrong. I think that's
because you're a member already.
Yeah. Whoa. Man, you guys in the comments. UW fan Jim. He is old enough for male pattern baldness. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Scam Rising for the Male Men's Hair Institute. Where we transplant hair from places you don't want to talk about to make your mane look like it's full. You haven't gotten a haircut in a while.
Tomorrow.
No, you're getting a haircut tomorrow.
I am tomorrow morning.
All right, there you go. That's why you're not playing golf tomorrow.
Oh.
It's disgusting. I'm not doing this with you today. I'm not going to talk about the fact that Jake is not allowed to play golf tomorrow.
It's not that I'm not allowed, dude.
It is.
It's not actually.
Then why aren't you playing golf? Because I got to get a haircut.
Because I got other things to do Saturday, and we're playing Sunday.
What kind of powers does a Sun Devil have? I don't believe in deities. Calford, I'm trying to get you 1K summary, but you and Steely Matt keep getting skipped. Listen, I'm over here in the poverty program.
Stop crying like a little girl.
Boyd Lake, ASU has a decent QB, talented receivers, and a great running back. It should be a good game. Scatabo is for real. Yeah, I agree. And they have done a really good job of controlling time of possession. And Scatabo is one of those guys you don't want to tackle. It's not fun. The other Cam, Scatabo, is not a guy you want to tackle. He averages 7.3 yards a carry.
Bro, you gave up 31 to Kansas at home. Let's not lie to ourselves about how good this team is or is not. They can run the football. They've got a decent defense. This is a game Utah should dominate.
That's right. It was at Mountain America Stadium.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as Sun Devil Stadium.
Yeah, the Concrete Palace.
How disappointing is Kansas?
Very.
God, dog. But against Kansas, Arizona State was 6 of 10 on third down. They had 481 total yards. They ran for 309. They turned the ball over twice.
I thought you said they ran for 309.
And they lost the time of possession, which is why they gave up 31 points.
So let me get this right. You ran for 300 plus yards and only won by 4 points?
Yes. And,
Come on.
And lost the time of possession when you ran for 309 yards. That's what inconsistent teams do.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Oh, boy. Lee Jensen. Hello, Lee Jensen.
I'm gonna have to bounce Tanner out of the members only chat. I didn't realize he wasn't a member anymore.
Yeah, I can't believe Tanner's not a member anymore. Shake my head.
I mean, I'll do it right now, actually, while we're on the show here. Okay.
Wow.
So all right, so let's check in on this, Tanner. Can't have super soaker privileges in the chat if you're not gonna, be contributing.
Calford gifted 10 Monty Show memberships. Okay, let's see who picked up those 10. Let me go over to YouTube.
Yeah, did Tanner pick up the?
But that doesn't count as members only.
No, it doesn't.
That's the problem. Who picked up the 10 memberships? Man, a lot of comments today. Weston Cottom, Isaac Harlan, Richard Gray, Tiger Ronnie, Jan Holt,
Tiger Ronnie,
Dreamer Ready Room, the Dreamer Ready Room, Tom M, Brent Burnett, how are you? Dallin Sproul,
What's up, dude?
and Matt, just Matt, picked up a membership. There you go. I appreciate you. Doing that, Calford.
Yeah, it looks like Tanner under the radar took himself out of the group. So apparently Tanner decided
took
to separate.
himself out of the group.
Yeah, he's not in the group anymore, which I didn't see. So
what happened, Tanner?
So Tanner decided no more.
The Stadium Guy James for $5. Final score: Idle 51, Oak State 17. Breaking news: Cam Rising has a new NIL deal with Ensure. Get it like the protein shake Ensure, because he's an old man, the same age as your guy Alan Bowman. You know the great. Nope. I will not be sucked into your BS. I won't do it. Damn, LOL Jake is ruthless. Hey, man, business is business.
I mean, I'm curious why Tanner left.
Kay Sumbry, hoping and praying. Giggity. What's up, fellas? A little late to the show today. How dare you?
Yeah, come on.
How dare you? Good to see you, Giggity. Thanks for your service. Aaron Wilson, America's best mailman ever. Got to pay to play. Oh, Aaron Wilson, you're amazing. Thank you. I heard from our guy Ronnie, the Amazon driver.
Okay. What was this again? I vaguely remember this. You mentioned this before. What was the deal here?
Ronnie, the Amazon driver.
Yeah.
Claims he delivers packages to our house.
Okay.
And Ronnie, the Amazon driver, yesterday DMs me and is going off about how we don't talk non-sports stories anymore, and you guys don't talk about the stock market, and I'm really pissed off about Amazon stock price. And can I just tell you how much I appreciate guys like Ronnie, the Amazon driver? Because he also said he appreciates, and this is, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but Ronnie said he appreciates that I routinely encourage people to say, hey, Alexa, thank my driver. Because it actually helps them. They get scored. And every time I get a delivery, I say, hey, Amazon, or hey, Alexa, thank my driver.
Right.
That's where this started.
Yeah. Okay.
And he claims he delivers packages to my house.
Okay.
So,
okay,
Ronnie, good to hear from you on DM yesterday.
Yeah. Nice job, dude.
So when you get a package from Amazon, say, hey, Alexa, thank my driver.
Do it.
It helps them. It really helps them. Roche, a healthy Cam will average 35 points a game. I would agree with that.
Agreed.
Boyd Lake, Tanner being all honest and stuff. I agree. Mike Chase, don't call me Mikkel. My name is Mike Chase. Mike, good to see you. Hope the kids are well. BYU's offense should be better with Jake and all of the running backs back, hopefully. LJ Martin has a breakout game. LJ Martin is the key to this offense.
Yeah.
Because when they can run the ball, especially his ability to one cut If he's able to, because a lot of running plays that wind up going deep are really good diagnosis, and it's almost like, that the counter run where you pitch it left designed to go back right.
Yeah.
When you have a back that can one cut like LJ Martin can when he's healthy, it's devastating. And they have not had LJ Martin in the offense consistently for the last 2 years because the kid can't just can't stay healthy. And when BYU is healthy, they're a good football team. And I think when you look at this game for BYU, this is a huge game. Big noon kickoff in Provo. Arizona at BYU. The number's -3 for BYU, 48.5. It's tomorrow at 2:00 on Fox. Just your initial feelings about this game.
Way the F over the number. Way over.
You think it goes way over?
55, 60 points in this game.
Really?
100%. Yep. I think that Tedero McMillan's going to have a big game. I think that I think that BYU's defense really knows how to suffocate a run-first offense and how to force you into passing. But I think the thing is, that's not Arizona's bread and butter. Arizona's bread and butter is bigger plays in the passing game, beating your defense even when they're in their scheme, and discipline to their concept. And so I'm curious, one of the first things I'm going to look for out of this BYU defense is, how are we approaching taking away McMillan? How are we approaching covering him? And who's the guy inside of that's going to have a big game in the secondary? So, who's going to be the DB that's got to hold the second wide receiver down? Because that dude is going to decide BYU's success in this game, because you can't have, the Fighting Fafitas going off for 350 and 3 tutties. That's not going to work if you want to win this game.
Here's the very simple way that you beat BYU. You run the football. And when you look at the way that BYU beat K-State, I think this is a really important point. They beat K-State with big plays in special teams. They beat K-State with mistakes from K-State throwing the football. But what didn't they do in the K-State game? They didn't stop the run. K-State ran that, I believe, 228 yards. K-State ran for in that game. If Arizona wants to go to Provo and win, they will come in and they will run the football. And then Tedero McMillan gets one over the top, because BYU is susceptible. You can run the ball against BYU. They are susceptible to the run.
Yeah, but I also think, in fairness, I don't disagree with you, but in fairness to that point, K-State's one of the most prolific running teams in the conference. I mean, you've got a run-first quarterback. You've got a deep running back room. They embrace running the football in that program. So I would agree that's how you beat BYU. But I think when we look at this game, I think we shouldn't, the expectation shouldn't be that Arizona is going to be able to run as effectively as K-State did, because that's what K-State does. But
why did Arizona lose to Texas Tech? Not because they put up 422 total yards, because Texas Tech only gave up 121 on the ground. They were able to stuff the run. And you're not going to beat Texas Tech by only scoring 22 points.
Right.
The blueprint to beating Arizona is you got to stop the run and play man over on Tedero and McMillan, and you will beat Arizona. If you allow Arizona to run for 150, 160, 170 yards, they're going to beat you. It's plain and simple. They can control the clock and still lose the game.
Yeah.
In my opinion, BYU is susceptible to the run. And I think that's how you exploit BYU, and I think that's how you beat BYU. And I think the other thing that is really critical, if Arizona is going to win this game, they have to continue to keep BYU in a really low percentage on third down, because I think it's a huge problem that BYU's had all year long. They do not convert on third down. So what happened at Baylor? Well, you won the game, but why was it so close? You couldn't execute on third down late in the game. And I think that's the biggest thing, because BYU has those special moments on offense. Their special teams have been really sound. Jake Retzloff has been good, not great. And now you've had a week to tune some things up. And now you've had a week to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And now you've had an extra week to get ready for Arizona and Provo. And now you've got big noon kickoff coming. And my feeling is this is going to be a big day for Jake Retzloff. And if LJ Martin's healthy, I think that they are going to win this game convincingly. Because I think altitude's a real problem for teams like Arizona.
Yes, it is.
And I think Utah played horrible football against Arizona. It was the worst game I've seen Isaac Wilson play. You're not going to get an Isaac Wilson level performance out of Jake Retzloff. He's just too good at quarterback. He's too good in those moments.
And he can move.
And he's got phenomenal wide receivers.
Yeah.
And if LJ Martin is healthy and can run, he's got a really good running back. I like BYU to break the 30-point barrier in this game.
Yeah. My prediction would be 31-21 BYU. Goes over.
So you think it's a shootout.
I do.
You think it's a close game.
I wouldn't say a close game. I think that the first half will be a shootout and it'll be close in the first half. But I think in the second half, BYU will start to pull away. I think that, I agree with you. They've had time to prepare for this Arizona team. You were able to watch what Utah didn't do, where Utah failed on defense to stop Arizona. So you're able to learn those lessons and say, okay, hey, this is where a really good defense in Utah typically would win at the point of attack and was not for whatever reason. And you're able to say, as a BYU coordinator, Jay Hill is able to say, okay, cool. This is where Arizona's going to try and run the ball, and this is what they're going to try and do. And I would guess, this is just an opinion based on watching BYU this year on defense. I would assume in this game that your priority early is going to be to force them into third and long. That's all I'd be trying to do. I would be saying, okay, let's not let Noah Fafita get into a rhythm with the 2 or 3 yard completion early in this game. Let's play press coverage early. Let's force them into running concepts, and let's see what they can do on the ground. Because that's the other thing a team like Arizona likes to do, based on what I've seen, is, hey, you want to get that connection going early and often with those wide receivers. And if you allow them to do that, that's not going to bode well for you later in the game. So to me, it's like, come out, press them on defense, make them earn it, and see what they can do to beat you, and then go from there.
BYU has created 10 takeaways.
Yeah.
10 takeaways, 6 interceptions and 4 fumbles. That is near the top of the conference. The defense has those moments. The offense has those moments. I can't see a path for Arizona to win this game. I think you are looking at something in the order. I think BYU is 35 points, and I think Arizona's 20 something. I think BYU wins. They cover, and it goes over the number.
Agreed.
I think that it is imperative that BYU continues to have those spectacular moments.
Yeah.
You have to have those spectacular moments, because Arizona has those moments on offense. I am telling you, you don't know Tataroa McMillan. And a lot of people don't know the Fighting Fafitas, named after their quarterback, Noah Fafita. That is, in my opinion, the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the Big 12. I think that much of those two. And if Arizona can run the ball, they will have a chance to win this game. I am not saying they're getting blown out, but at home with a raucous, crazy crowd, and BYU fans are amazing football fans. That place is going to be lit. It's going to be loud. It's at altitude. You're going to have trouble. I'm curious, does Arizona turn the football over in the first 3 drives? Because your lungs are going to burn for the first 3 drives.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
If Arizona
is running the football,
if Arizona can score points without turnovers in the first 3 drives, they're going to have a really good chance to win the game. And I think that's going to be the big question here. I have a lot of respect for Noah Fafita. I love that guy. Tataroa McMillan is, again, I can't say enough about his ability. They have to commit to the run. Tataroa McMillan's an easy button a lot of times. And you have to commit to the run. You have to. Noah Fafita is not going to beat you with his legs. BYU is not particularly amazing at getting to the quarterback. But this year, they've played the backfield a heck of a lot more. And my question is, if you sell out to stop the run against Arizona, how many first and second down throws do we get? And is that where the turnovers come? And do we get a Tyler Batty Big hit strip sack on Noah Fafita.
Well, look at what they did to Avery Johnson in K-State, right? I mean, obviously the turnovers were prolific in that game, but inside of that, before the big play happens, what takes place? What has BYU been doing to people? And this is what you got to watch for. They've been winning on first and second down as a defense and getting you behind the sticks and forcing you to be in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, obvious
which is why
situations.
BYU's been pretty good defensively on 3rd down.
Yeah.
Not great offensively at converting 3rd downs, but their defense has been pretty solid.
Yeah.
BYU at on 3rd down. Brandon Butler, Utah is coming off of a bye. Arizona is playing on a short week. Arizona State is playing on a short week. The recipe is there for dominating performance from Utah. BYU anticipate a close game, first big road game, and pressure is building. Well, I think that having Big Noon kickoff at Lavelle Edwards Stadium is a big deal. It's not often that you get that.
Yeah.
And if this was a night game, I would predict that BYU would just absolutely destroy Arizona. But it's a 2:00 kickoff. And I think it's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be a fun game to watch. It's not one you want to miss. Mayor McCluskey, McMillan is going to get his numbers. You're 1,000% right. If BYU stops the run and contains Fafita, they can beat Arizona. I agree.
Yeah, which I think they're very capable of doing, by the way. I think, the linebacking core at BYU is built to stop an offense like this, 100%. Yep.
Mike Chase, the whole running back room is healthy for BYU. Well, they're able to play.
Yeah.
LJ Martin is so frustrating to me as a talent because you can just see, you can throw him the ball. He runs the ball like he's the guy this offense needs. He makes Jake Retzloff a better quarterback because there's more available to him. And LJ's got to stay healthy and be on the field. It's got to be. It's got to be. And I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah. Willie Wilson. Penn State still has USC, Ohio State to play. Tough road. We'll see. Around 98 degrees in Tempe at kickoff. I don't think the heat will match. It's been so hot here in Utah all summer. It's been hot.
And by the way, sorry not to cut you off. The Oklahoma State game, I think people forgot that game was cooking. During the broadcast, they said it was about 130 on the field.
And BYU's sports medicine physio nutrition program Utah. Their sports nutrition, sports performance department is elite. The more we praise BYU, the more I like they'll lose. Okay. I think they'll lose. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Shouty. Texas OU kickoff at 2:30 now from 11 a.m. Okay. I can't wait for that game. Michigan does not have to win this weekend as long as the Tigers and Padres do. Oh, now we're storytelling.
Oh, we're coming off our spot a little bit.
Now
here.
we're but listen. It is, Alex having an orgy. Like remember the 150 yards? It was his breakout game.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, and are you? I mean, this is your number 24 barely hanging on in the Big Ten, Michigan Wolverines.
Ferris, I got news for you, dude. You're not living down the Alex orgy take.
Did you guys? Who's giving up the 3rd most points in the Big Ten?
It must be Indiana or Purdue.
It's got to be Purdue. Right? No, they've given up the 2nd most. Well, it must be UCL. No, they've given up the 2nd most. Purdue's given up the most. What? So can somebody call Bristol and get on the phone with the people at ESPN.com because they claim that Michigan's given up the 3rd most points in the Big Ten. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's true. This defense is elite.
Well, you know what happened? Sign stealer guy has pissed off and has been given the signs to Michigan's opposition.
No, I don't think that's true. I think Jake, don't storytell like that. Michigan is a bunch of nice boys who came together in the moment of adversity and cheated, won a national championship.
Over a table of cheeseburgers.
Those kids were hungry, Jake.
Yeah,
Jim Harbaugh was just trying to feed hungry kids.
Yeah.
He's a humanitarian who never lies, cheats, and steals. That he would never do that.
Cheating, lying, and then playing the victim.
He would never
do that. Those kids were hungry. Jim didn't remember them until they presented him with evidence that he had met them in person and texted.
Bruh.
He would never do that.
Those kids were just passing through Ann Arbor. They had no food and no money, and Jim was there like a beacon in the night.
Yeah.
Whatever. Ooh, Michigan. Shut up. UW fan Jim. Michigan just had to play the high-powered dogs.
Yeah.
You were nervous in that game, and don't tell me you
100% you were. You were puckering.
Michigan is honest. Caruso's a great defender. Scam Rising will play 4 quarters. All the same. Alex Caruso is an elite defender. You know, it is what Moth Prof.
Wow.
Let's go, Moth Prof. Texas going to make a statement Saturday.
Well,
all right. Should we get into it? Hook 'em. Texas, Oklahoma, the Cotton Bowl.
yeah.
Where Oklahoma is a 14.5 point dog. 48.5 number. So wait, you don't think Oklahoma's going to score much?
What?
Are you telling me that little Kyler Murray isn't going to put up oh wait, he's not there anymore. Are you telling me that Baker Mayfield is oh wait, he's not there anymore?
Are you telling me that Jalen Hurts?
I love this game. I'm giddy for this game. I have a lot of respect. A lot's probably a big word. I have a lot of respect for the history and tradition of Oklahoma football.
A lot.
But they're not that team anymore.
No.
And Barry Switzer and Brian Bosworth aren't walking through that door anytime soon.
No.
And you are talking about some foolish people who believe that Texas is the best team in the country. And I'm here to tell you, I agree with everybody who says that Texas is better than Oklahoma because it ain't close. Who are you, Oak State? Now, if Oklahoma had Alan Bowman at quarterback, we might be having a different discussion.
But they don't, so we got to have a paper bag on their heads, you know?
This is the game that we all deserve. And I look at the fact that Quinn Ewers is supposedly going to be healthy enough to play.
Who are you? Scam Ewers?
Oh, bummer if you're not, because now you've got Arch Manning who's ready to play.
Yeah.
And we're all aware of that. This isn't Mac Brown's Texas. The questions are no longer, is Texas back? Texas is back, and they're far better than Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I think Texas is absolutely going to dominate the Sooners.
Monty?
The Sooners will soon be dominated. I think I take Texas all day long in this game.
Yeah, I think that, you know, if you're somebody who's like, well, remember last year? Well, I got news for you. Texas is the same guy they were last year. Oklahoma's not. And Dylan Gabriel's not playing for Oklahoma on Saturday. And I look at this game, and I think the 48.5 number is light. I think that this is going to be a 40 spot for Texas. And I think Oklahoma is going to be lucky to get to 20 points in this game. And I only say that because of the speed and athleticism of that defense. That defense covers ground in a hurry. And you look at what they did to Michigan on the road, and I know Michigan's terrible. They're garbo. Nobody's putting any stock into that win. Okay, fine. Don't put any stock into that win. All I'm saying is look at what they've done the rest of the year against Nobodyville. 56-7, 51-3, 52-0 against, you know, everyone's All-American in Colorado State. Like, this is a defense that dominates you. They don't just look to beat you. They look to end your day early. So to me, I'm sitting here saying, how is this number under 50 points for this game? I don't understand that.
Well, and I think the bigger question here is, can Oklahoma pass the football against what I think is almost inarguably the best passing defense in the country? And when I look at the way that Oklahoma plays football, I don't know who you are as an offense because you looked awful You looked terrible at home against Tennessee.
Hot ass.
Where you got absolutely torched. Now, Jackson Arnold only threw the ball 16 times in that game for 54 yards.
Nice, dude.
That's not good. Not to be the master of the obvious. But you look at the Auburn game, and Jackson Arnold doesn't play, and now you're looking at Michael Hawkins. 10 of 15, 161 yards. And he also led your team in rushing. And you barely beat Auburn. And now you're going to a rivalry game against Texas with uncertainty at the quarterback position. You're in trouble.
Yes.
You're in trouble here. There's no path for you to win this game.
Facts.
I don't know what would have to be in the drinking water at the Cotton Bowl
Turnovers.
for you to win this game.
Turnovers. That's
But
it.
Texas doesn't really turn the
But
football over.
again, I know. And I don't think they will. But this game always has energy. Remember last year's game. But the only difference is you don't have the playmaker that Dylan Gabriel is. You don't have that X factor at quarterback for Oklahoma that can just pull something out of the hat. Like, you don't have that. And to me, again, if you're looking at this from Texas's perspective, look at the schedule after this game for Texas. You're going to beat the hell out of Oklahoma, in my opinion, and it's not going to be close. Then you're going to go and play Georgia, your game of the year. These 2 weeks for Texas and Steve Sarkisian are your 2 weeks because you're going to beat everybody else. You'll beat Vandy, you'll beat Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, and you'll beat A&M. These are the 2 weeks. These are the must-haves to have an undefeated season if you're Texas, to be the number 1 seed headed into the college football playoff. And to me, I look at this and I say, why should I believe that Oklahoma is going to somehow turn into somebody they haven't been? They're going to roll up to the Cotton Bowl and be like, yep, we're that dude. We can put up 30 points on this defense. I'm not going to believe that. What I'm going to believe is what I've seen. I'm going to believe Texas has a quick strike offense that gets up and down the field with efficiency and regularity, and Oklahoma is going to have an incredibly difficult time stopping that. And the only way Texas is behind in this game is if Oklahoma gets the kickoff, gets first possession, and somehow there's a mistake made.
I'm trying to find a number that works for Oklahoma, and there isn't one.
Yeah.
You're talking about a Texas defense going up against a freshman quarterback. They only give up 121.6 yards passing a game, which is 30 yards better than anybody else in the SEC. Texas gives up what is, in my opinion, a gaudy 106 yards a game on the ground, which is 6th in the SEC. And they're going to load up against the run because they're not scared of the pass. This is going to be a dominant Texas performance.
Yeah.
I think they're the best defense in the country. I think they win 38 to maybe 10. You roll off the bus and you score a touchdown in college football.
Yeah.
I think it's something in the order of it's a 21-point win at a minimum for Texas. I just don't have an avenue for Oklahoma, and I've tried. I don't have an avenue for Oklahoma to score 2 touchdowns in this game. I think Pete Kwiatkowski's defense is
Garbo time touchdown for Oklahoma to get to 14.
There's no such thing as Garbo time in the Red River rivalry.
Well,
there's no garbage time with Oklahoma and Texas. This is a game where you're trying to prove a point. You came with us, but you're not one of us. That's what Texas is going to do here. And Steve Sarkisian has done a very good job of keeping this Texas football team uncomfortable, because it'd be really easy to be like, God damn, boy, we're good. They got a freshman at quarter. We're going to take this week off. They're not doing that in Austin. They're coming for their ass. Yeah. They're coming to prove a point against Oklahoma, and I think they're gonna. I don't think there will be any way, shape, or form that this will be a garbage time kind of game. I think they're coming to prove a point. I think Arch Manning will get reps in this game in garbage time. I think Texas scores a defensive touchdown in this. I think it's everything you want if you're Texas.
40-10, Texas.
Okay. But what about the garbage time touchdown?
Well,
I talked you out of it.
Yeah.
I talked you out of it.
If you think there's no garbage time, then 40-10.
I talked you out of it. Jay Brannon, why are you referring to Gabriel like he's a championship level quarterback? He's not, and he hasn't been, and he won't this year at Oregon. Wow.
Well, mainly because he beat Texas last year single-handedly.
Wow.
And I understand you as an Oklahoma fan are salty as hell that he left for a better program, but I don't blame him.
Red River, pew, pew. Can't say those words anymore.
No.
The stadium guy, James. Monty talks like Elmer Fudd. Wed wivel wivelwee. It's tough to say it fast. Willie Wilson, Texas versus Georgia will be a popcorn game for sure. There will be some smash mouth hitting on both sides. And 17 to 20 million people will watch it.
Yep.
The awkward guy. It's the Red River, and none of y'all woke mind virus people will ever change that.
Okay. Next comment.
Mind virus people.
Okay.
Cal Pitt, man. I mean,
dude.
Ute fan Jim, Pete Kwiatkowski is the best coach on the Longhorns team. Easy. That's Jimmy Lake, and we all know it. Jimmy Lake was a disaster.
You're casual.
Chris Peterson. I miss Chris Peterson as a coach. He's a good human being. Texas, hug him. You're going to hook him this week. Pitt going to win against the Bears. Pitt's off to a good start. Pitt is off to a good start. All right, let's keep rolling. Because then there's this little game over here.
Hey, boy.
Hey, boy. How about this game right here? The Ohio State. Oregon. The Ducks. +3.
The great inflatables.
There you go. Autzen Stadium. Saturday. 4:00. NBC. National TV. The game of the year.
Yeah.
Who's got more on the line here? The or Oregon?
The, without a doubt. Oregon's a dog in this game. Ohio State's regarded as one of the top 3 best teams in the country on a regular basis. And this is, so for Dan Lanning, this is what he as a football coach was built to do. Dan Lanning is a red-ass football coach who prides himself on defense and prides himself on being the underdog and going out and, being physical and, playing that kind of football. And I would expect that out of Oregon in this game. The only question I have in this game, because I think this game is very similar to the Oregon-Washington game last year, only Ohio State's better than Washington was. My only question is, can Will Howard do what Michael Penix did, which is put the ball in a spot where only his guy can catch it with 2 DBs draped all over his dude? Because if he can do that, and I do think he can do that, they're going to win this game. But who's got more on the line? There's no question it's Ohio State. There's no question.
I think that Dan Lanning has done a good job of ironing out some of the wrinkles that started you and you struggled with early in the season. Dylan Gabriel's not been a problem for this team.
Mm-hmm.
That cat's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
The problem is Will Howard's a great quarterback. You've got the best wide receiver in the country. You've got one of the most talented defenses in the country. And I think the game is going to come down to which quarterback executes. That's what this game's going to be about. Because you're fast on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Both teams, both sides of the ball. You're fast, you're talented. I think Ohio State has a better coaching staff. But is this really about coaching anymore? This is about, let's kick the ball off and see who plays better. Sure, you can call plays and timeouts. This is going to come down to the athletes on the field, as all big games do. And I think this is where we find out really how good the paper is versus the humanity on the field at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you guys know I'm a huge fan of Will Howard. I believe in the kid. I think that they've done a really good job protecting him. He has had time and space to throw. That's probably going to shrink a little bit against Oregon.
Yes.
This is clearly the best defensive front that Ohio State has seen. But Chip Kelly is the best offensive coordinator that the Ducks have seen this year. I don't think there's any doubt that Ohio State's defensive line is the best in the country. This is the best defensive line in the country. And I think the Buckeyes are going to get after Dillon Gabriel. And you have a wildly talented secondary. Does Dillon Gabriel throw an interception or 3 in this game? That's all I need to know.
You can book it on 1. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that you're going to have to force him into a mistake.
Well, think about this on that point specifically. So the formula for Ohio State in this game is take control early, right? Get out. Like Quinshon Judkins needs to come out and run the football effectively early. Get control, get a 7-8 minute drive put together here on your first possession and take control of the environment. Because if Dillon Gabriel, for him to throw an interception or more, what needs to take place is Oregon needs to be behind so they are not running the football, so they are passing the football. And if you do that to Oregon, we've seen that be a problem in the past. Bo Nix be damned. We have seen Oregon behind is not nearly as good as Oregon ahead. And that's because, like I said, Dan Lanning likes to play a physical, aggressive style of football, but you can't do that when you're behind. When you're behind and you're chasing, you got to get down the field. You can't grind a team out. So I agree completely. Dillon Gabriel throwing a pick in this game is about as safe of a prize pick as you could possibly have this week. And I think that Dillon Gabriel, this is one of those signature games for his career. If he comes out and has, let's say 250, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, and 3 picks, that's not a great performance.
And what scares you is Dillon Gabriel has not been protected well. And I think that's where this game will be won and lost. I think that the ability of Oregon's offensive line, which has been pretty mediocre, the ability of Oregon's offensive line to hold up against the best offensive line in college football, I don't feel good about that. I think if you've got to somehow protect him. If Dillon Gabriel's pressured on 35-40% of his dropbacks, which I think is very likely in this game, they're in real trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's why I can't find a scenario where I feel good about picking Oregon to win this game. I think that this is going to be one of those games that Will Howard's going to have to show that those interceptions are a thing of the past. Because when he's been on the show, he's talked about his habitual forcing of the football that has plagued him at K-State. It plagued him. But what did he tell us? Why did he force those throws? Because he didn't feel like he had other options. And when I look at this offensive roster at Ohio State, he's got options all over the field, which he has talked about plainly. And when I look at what they did to Iowa last week, and I look at the way that they committed to running the football, they ran the ball 40 times against Iowa.
Yeah.
That's what I've been waiting for out of Chip Kelly. And, I look at the way that Will Howard play, and I look at Jeremiah Smith, who I think is the best wide receiver in the country. I don't think we've seen the playbook in its entirety from Ohio State. They haven't played anybody. They haven't been tested. We're going to see things out of this offense that we have not seen previously. I think this is a 10-point, 12-point win for Ohio State because if you're Oregon, you're not going to be able to compete in the third and fourth quarters with that defensive line at Ohio State. I love Ohio State to win this game, and I think they win this game 21-24, 24-12, 24, something like that, because I just don't believe in this Oregon offense is going to protect Dillon Gabriel. I think there's going to be turnovers. I think the first half's going to be very interesting. I originally last night picked this game at 31-17.
Yep.
I just believe in Dan Lanning too much to believe he gives up 31 points here. So I think my pick is going to be 28-17. 28-17, Ohio State wins the game.
Yeah, so I would agree it's in that ballpark. I think one of the lessons you got to learn out of the Iowa game for Ohio State is this team's ability to make adjustments at the half. And the thing that really stood out to me is everyone said, oh, well, they sputtered in the first half. They didn't score points. I don't think it's that they didn't score or they sputtered because of Iowa. They didn't show up ready to go
I agree.
and play their ass off in the first half because it was Iowa. That's not going to be the case against Oregon.
I agree.
And I think the way this game is going to go is you're going to get 10 points out of Oregon in the first quarter, in my opinion, and 7 out of Ohio State, and people are going to be losing their minds. They're going to be saying, oh, man, Ohio State, what the hell? And then as this game moves on, and as we move along, Ohio State's going to start to impose its will on the defensive line. They're going to start to create more 3-and-outs, and the time of possession battle is going to start to swing towards Ohio State. And by the time this game gets over, that Oregon defense is going to be exhausted. So when you talk about Dan Lanning not giving up 31 at home, on premise, I don't disagree with that. But what we're going to see on the field, I do disagree. I do think that Ohio State has 30-plus points in this game, just barely. I'm taking Ohio State 31-17. I like the 17 number for Oregon.
The last thing I point out is a sputtering Oregon team hasn't played anybody. Idaho, Boise State, at Oregon State, at UCLA, and Michigan State.
Yeah.
They've not been tested. And you look at the 49-14 shellac they put on Oregon State. The Boise State game, I think, is a letdown game. Michigan State's not good. They're 3-3 and 1-2 in conference.
Yeah.
They have not been tested the way that Ohio State's talent level tests them. I think that this is where we find out who Oregon really is, and I just don't think they're elite.
No.
I think they're the Hall of Very Good, not the elite.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So
we'll see. Shody says Texas OU's kickoff is not 11. It's 2:30 Central Time.
right. That's what we've been saying, man.
Is there a mistake on the
Like,
graphic?
did we write something wrong?
No, I don't believe we did.
Like,
I don't understand. What
Like,
are you losing your mind about?
What's the issue?
I don't know. The Jake take that bothers me. They didn't show up. I just disagree. I think Iowa is good on D. I watched most of that game. They sleptwalked through the first half.
Yeah.
And we talked about this in previewing that game. That was the first real game, and it was easy. I think it was easy in the second half. You saw it.
Look at the third quarter, dude. 21 points in the third quarter, I think it was. Like,
Ohio State made great second half adjustments. I just think they were not crisp. They were not sharp. They weren't
awake.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we can all agree or disagree.
I mean, I'm not saying that you're patently wrong on it. But what I am saying is that, like, I go back on YouTube and watch the first half. Like, watch the first half, then watch the second half. And it's not a second half.
It's not even close.
It's not like an X's and O's tactical adjustment where they are like, hey, we got to start like taking shots or do like that's not.
We got to run through the A gap.
Yeah, like that's not what the adjustment was. The adjustment was just simply, hey, by the way, we might want to turn it on here. And then not only did they turn it on, they blew out Iowa, man. It wasn't even close.
The stadium guy, James, the Ohio State is going to blast the Ducks out of the sky. Sergeant Green is a fan of I've been saying the same thing. Why would they show their hand before this game?
Yeah,
you would
totally
have
agree.
No reason, right, Sergeant? You just wouldn't. There's no.
I think there's, to be honest,
you haven't needed it.
My opinion on what they're not showing is a robust RPO game with Will Howard. I think he's got the ability. I think he likes running it. I think with Quinshon Judkins behind him, you've got a back that's athletic and can run over guys. Like they can pull out a ton of plays out of that area of the game. I know it's a family show. I understand. But ultimately, I would agree. I think Ohio State's got a lot of stuff they haven't shown yet. And I'm telling you right now, if I'm Ohio State, I don't even break that out in the first quarter. All I'm doing if I'm Ohio State in the first quarter is I'm running the football.
And do you guys understand that Travion Henderson has only gotten double-digit carries twice this season? We haven't seen even. I think we're still on the syllabus. What do they call it when you write a paper and there's like
the index?
The index. The table of contents.
Yeah, right? Like we're
passing
in
attack.
2.
Okay, go ahead, throw the ball down the field, Will. Oh, running attack? Okay, go ahead, hand it off to Quinshon. Hand it off to
We
Travion.
haven't gotten to the portion of, hey, we're playing a tight game on the road, and hopefully we get it this week. I'd love to see it this week. I'd love for Oregon to show up and make this a really close
I would
game.
love that.
I would love that. But I don't think that Will Howard's been asked, and it's just not a necessity. That it hasn't been warranted yet for Will Howard to stand under center, diagnose the defense, and then check to an RPO play or check to a quick slant. I don't think we've seen a lot of that happening. I think because they're so damn good and the play calling is typically so on point, they've just run the play and it works. Like
Paco, like taco, get the duck. Duck tacos, Paco.
Okay.
Shouty, they used to kick off at 11.
Bro,
okay.
Like,
that's cool. That's cool. Roche, Ducks are playing at home. The hype is strong. Close game. Lanning. I think Eugene is a great Autzen Stadium. Great place to watch a football game. But this is one of those things where I think it's very difficult to overcome the talent. You don't have rosters like this very often. It's why Texas is so good. It's why Ohio State's so good.
Yeah.
It's why Michigan never needed to cheat because
they were better than you.
And they still did. Calford gifts 10 more Monty Show memberships.
Thanks, bro. Nice job.
Appreciate you very much. Fat old Mormon and dying. I hope Oregon wins, but I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't either. Big Daddy Magic. Play a Ducks win big. Okay. If the Ducks win big, Jake will buy me dinner. If the Ducks lose, you have to buy me a 3X red Buffalo Bills t-shirt off of Amazon.
No.
And again, I think you said 3X, which is me telling you to buy it for yourself. Because I won't be doing that at all. Real quick. Real quick. The beloved. Jaguars and Chicago Bears. Bears minus 144.5, 7:30 in the morning. Tottenham Hotspurs. I hate you. Go Chelsea. I cannot stand Tottenham. Beautiful stadium, though. 7:30 NFL Network, London, the United Kingdom. Are you ready to mea culpa and apologize to me for all the slander you threw at Caleb Williams? Are you going to apologize and say that he's...
What slander?
One of the things that's driven me crazy this year is how many people are like, fire the coach, that quarterback's a bust. We got to stop being hot take guy in sports talk. You didn't. I just wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Bears situation, is the poster child for that take. Hey, like number 1 overall pick, defensive coordinator as a head coach, like it's got those takes all over it. This game, my concern in this game is not the talent on the field. Talent on the field, the Bears should win this game all day.
The Bears.
The problem is that the Jags play in London with regularity, and I'm a believer that flying that far, moving your entire operation overseas for 10 days is not just no big deal type situation. So I'm a little concerned that this is a game the Bears should win and won't win because it's in London.
Bears.
And the Jags have so much experience with that.
The Bears. I think that Matt Eberflus is not an NFL head coach. He's an elite defensive coordinator. Who are you, Bobby Saleh? I think that Matt Eberflus should be a defensive coordinator, not a head coach, and it will plague the Bears. But all of you hyenas that were calling Caleb Williams a bust, you owe me an apology. For all of you San Francisco 49er fans that were calling Brock Purdy a bust and
what are we doing?
Not a franchise quarterback, you owe me an apology.
I would never pay Brock. Come on, dude. Come on.
Caleb Williams is the only dream I've ever had with the Chicago Bears. He's gravitational on the field. He's fun to watch. He's a franchise quarterback, and he showed you that every single week. With a mid offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator as his head coach, he's gotten better every single week. And the Jaguars are just not very good. This Bears defense is elite. The Bears all day long. All day long.
Yeah, like I said, they should win this game, but I'm just concerned about the travel. I'm concerned about, hey, this is not something you regularly do.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll take them to win, but I'm not going to be shocked.
I mean, I'll do it for you because,
I'll do it for you, Monty.
You don't have anything else going on in your life,
Yeah.
loser. Look, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't forget, this is the final weekend up at Canyons Golf. Canyons Golf in Park City, the official golf resort of the Monty Show. It's been a great season. It has been a great season up at Canyons Golf. And if you're looking for tee times this weekend,
good luck.
It's going to be tough because this is going to be one of the last nice weekends of the year in Utah, because I think next weekend is 50 degrees
and raining
for highs. Makes me a little nervous. But you look at Canyons Golf, it is going to be a beautiful weekend up in the mountains. I am excited about it. And when you look at the tee times for tomorrow, there's still a few tee times left at Canyons Golf. The first available tee time is 8:44 in the morning.
Yeah.
Go get it. And then for Sunday, which is the last day of the year, they have a few tee times left as well. Go and get it. Go hit drives off of elevated tee boxes. Go enjoy the fall colors up in the mountains in Park City. Park City Mountain Resort is where you find Canyons Village and Canyons Golf. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. This week has felt like a month.
Yeah, nice week, dude. Nice week.
It's over. Time to go play some golf. Time to go eat some good food. I'm seeing Beetlejuice tonight.
Excited?
No. And then I am going to watch great football all weekend. We'll talk about all of it. The NFL, college football, every big matchup. How did your team do? Let's talk about it Monday morning on the Monty Show, presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.